Hey everyone, I think we're gonna give it a couple more minutes. I think we had some issues with the Slack URL. sorry, not the Slack URL, the Zoom URL. And so people, I think they were being forced to ask to use Intuit SSO, which doesn't really work for them. So we just replaced the link and give people a couple more minutes to join. Yeah, I'm going to give it maybe 2 more minutes and then we can get started. All right, I'll get us started then. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Argo CD Argo Rollouts community meeting. My name is Danny Thomson, and I am a software engineer at Intuit. Within Intuit, I mainly work on Argo Rollouts, and I'm going to be the host of the Argo CD Argo Rollouts community meeting today. So just a brief overview of the agenda today. Since we know we were kind of running short on time last time, we only have one demo today from Alex M talking about the new GitOps engine. And then we have a bunch of discussion topics kind of left over from last week and some additional new topics. And so, please feel free to add yourself to the community meeting doc as an attendee. I'm going to paste that in the chat right now. And before we kind of jump into it, just a quick overview of why we have this meeting. We have this meeting as a forum for users to kind of talk to the different community maintainers, and video chat tends to make that a little bit easier in some regards compared to other forums. And so this is a meeting for our users to kind of, one, show new functionality and also kind of give users the space to ask any questions that they have. And just a brief overview, if this is your first meeting, Argo CD is a Kubernetes native GitOps-based continuous delivery tool that aims to simplify deployments into Kubernetes clusters using the GitOps methodology. And Argo Rollouts is a progressive delivery tool that aims to provide more advanced deployment strategies to Kubernetes resources or Kubernetes applications. All of these projects are under the CNCF. And with that, this meeting is recorded and will be posted on YouTube later. And if you have any questions, please feel free to post on the Zoom or on our public Slack channel. The advantage of the Slack channel is that that will last longer than the Zoom meeting today. And so with that, I'll hand it off to Alex M. to talk about the GitOps engine.
Thank you, Daniel. Okay, please give me a hands up if you can hear me well. You do. Okay, thank you. So my name is Alex, and I'm a software engineer at Untitled, same as Daniel, and I'm working mostly on Argo CD project. And today I'm going to talk about the Argo CD 1.6 release. And let me start from sharing my screen. Okay, I hope you all can see my screen. So, as I said, I'm going to describe what we've done in 1.6 release. I'm going to go through changes really quickly, and then I will do a short demonstration. And let's get started. So, 1.6 release is slightly different from other releases. It's kind of light on number of enhancements and bug fixes. So we have 14 enhancements, 13 bug fixes. Yet we did a lot of code changes, and the reason is we worked on some refactoring, and we moved pretty much important core pieces of Argo CD into a usable library, GitHub, which we call engine. Okay, so what is GitOps engine? As I said, that's just a Go library. And on your screen right now, you are seeing the packages which are provided by that library. So it just has 4 kind of most important packages, and each package serves a piece of a function that have to be implemented if you want to do GitOps. So there is caching, there is resource reconciliation and syncing, health assessment. And on top of that, there is one package called engine. And that engine, it kind of provides a high-level interface that implements GitOps. And the reason to do it was started from collaboration with the Flux team, and we identified a set of features that kind of required in both Flux and Argo, and can be used in both projects. So, and as of now, Argo CD uses GitOps engine as a core as of 1.6 release. And Flux team is working on pull request and deciding how exactly they can use GitOps engine in Flux. Okay, so if you want to use it, there are 2 ways to learn about it. One is the documentation. We use Golang generated documentation, and link is right here. So if you open that link, you will see a nice page which has documentation of about public methods and some examples. So that's one way to learn about GitOps engine. And the second way is GitOps agent. So what is GitOps agent? GitOps agent is a kind of implementation of GitOps. It's a CLI application that uses GitOps engine and provides pretty much all of Argo CD core features through that CLI interface. And the reason for that to exist is to demonstrate how to use GitOps engine, so you can learn and see how it works. And second, it's just a useful application. So basically, you get GitOps features without any abstractions which are inside of Argo CD. So no applications, no projects, no CRDs, but you still can manage resources stored in Git and push them into the cluster. And that process of synchronization is 100% compatible with Argo CD because it's the same code. So right now we already have resource calling, sync hooks, sync waves. And then based on your feedback, we can expose additional features like resource health assessment. So that would mean potentially you can use that application to manage your cluster and then kind of get the health status of the cluster. So the link to agent is here. Before I jump into the demo, I just wanted to show you that implementation of the agent is kind of extremely small right now. It pretty much fits into the screen. So it is not super complicated to use the engine. And that's why it kind of so exciting. So you can either use the agent or take the piece of the code and embed it into your application instead of trying to run Argo CD on the side for a use case which is not appropriate. Okay, I think it's time to jump into the demo. You pretty much, I'm going to do it, but you can do it yourself as well. If you open the agent folder inside of GitOps engine repo, there is a README file and it has all the steps. And the first step is to install agent. And let me go ahead and do it. Installation is pretty much traditional installation of any Kubernetes application. You just need to run kubectl apply. So I'm going to run it. And while my deployment is trying to do it rollout, let me show what did we deploy. So right now, I just created a service account, a role, which gives full namespace access, role binding, and here's my deployment, the most interesting part. And it just consists of 2 containers. So one container is a GitOps engine, and it is configured to synchronize resources from the folder guestbook into the same namespace where engine is running. And second container, it's a Kubernetes official project, GitSync. Maybe it is familiar to you. And what GitSync does, it periodically clones the application into the local folder, and it has the ability to trigger a webhook when new commit is synced into the local folder. So the reason I mentioned that is that GitSync is kind of very flexible. It provides different ways to access the repository. You can use SSH, you can use HTTPS URLs. So, and it has nice documentation. So basically it kind of gives you pretty much the same type of ways to access your Git repository as Argo CD. So it's powerful. Okay, so I hope it's clear. So how it works is GitSync keep kind of a repository up to date in the container, and GitOps engine pushes it into the cluster. Let's get back to our demo. So GitOps engine deployment has been created, and the next step is to make sure that it is running. I'm just going to copy paste the steps from here. So it is running, and next I want to show you that I have nothing else in that repository. I should have deleted. Okay. First, I should have shown you that before I installed GitOps engine. Okay, GitOps engine already did its work and it created a guestbook application here. And to prove that it did it, let me show you the logs. I was supposed to. So here is GitOps engine logs, and from these logs you can see that engine was waiting for the repository. So first attempt failed because the repository was not cloned yet. Next attempt was successful, and engine detected two resources, service and deployment, and both was created successfully. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. This is the end of the demo, and you can try it yourself. And to kind of, if you want to deploy your repository, you would have to go and copy paste that manifest, and then use your repository and the repository and the path inside of the repository to deploy your manifest. I think that's it. Yeah, that's the end of the demonstration. All the links I mentioned, they are in that presentation, and presentation link is available in community meeting document. Thank you.
Alex, do you have a blog ready for people,
yes.
or not yet?
Oh, yes, the blog is ready. Yeah, that's a good source of information. We have a blog which pretty much describes the same. This is the blog, and I'm going to paste it into here.
Can you place it into the chat and the PowerPoint that you have?
Yes, I'm doing it right now. So
perfect.
thank you.
Awesome. Great demo, Alex. Any questions for Alex about this demo? Yeah, so Alex just posted the blog in the chat.
Done.
All right. So I think with that, thanks for that demo, Alex. We can now kind of move on to the discussion topics. So first on the docket we have is follow up on the application set proposal from Jesse.
Yeah, so the follow up is pretty much that there is no follow up right now. Right, so we had planned to do application sets right after the 1.6 GitOps engine release, but actually we're going to be pushing that out one more release to focus on the backlog of issues. So I think Argo CD 1.7, we're going to be focusing on just usability, stability, and just getting to the backlog of bugs and issues. And then I think after that, we can focus on application sets as kind of the next big feature. But I am, if you have any questions or concerns about that, please do comment on the Google Doc. I haven't been good at replying to that, but I do see some new comments that I haven't responded to in the Google Doc, but I will answer any questions about the spec in there. But yeah, that's it.
Any questions on that before we jump to the next topic? All right. With that, definitely check out that Google Doc. There's a lot of good stuff in it. Next, we have following up on using semantic versioning too. So
I have some update for that. Maybe I can share my screen really quickly just to show what we've done. And there are open questions which I don't have answer yet. Okay, let me start from sharing the screen. So during last discussion, during last community meeting, there was one good suggestion which was really easy to implement, is to just document breaking changes in between minor releases, not really breaking changes. So we agreed that minor releases basically don't have breaking changes, but we do want to make some changes that requires manual intervention. And good example is was in 1.3 release. So in 1.4 release, yeah, we introduced a new set of Prometheus metrics. And basically, I think it's not a good reason to create like V2 release. At the same time, it's kind of a breaking change. And the compromise was to introduce a new environment variable that controls the type of Prometheus metrics you want to get, the legacy one or the new one, and the default behavior is the new style of metrics, but you still can enable the old style and revert back to old behavior if you just introduce an environment variable. So just to summarize, we still want to introduce breaking changes, but with workarounds. And now we have a kind of centralized place where we document the breaking changes between these minor releases. And the document kind of describes what I just said. And the process looks like if you want to upgrade from like V1.2 to V1.5, you would have to go through this document, so 1.2 to V1.3, and the next one, and the next one, and kind of read, what we recommend you to do the upgrade. So it's not perfect, but it is now at least there is one place, and you don't have to look for the whole Argo CD documentation website and search for breaking changes. And I guess we're looking for feedback to see if you think it's enough or we need to continue improving. Open chats. Let's see if anyone. Then I will need you. Oh no, I found the chat. Okay, so if there are no questions, wanted to give just one more update. Is that based on feedback and based on bug reports, we also realized that upgrade of bundle config management tools within the patch release is also a bad idea. So, and we are brainstorming how we can streamline the process. The reason is basically on one hand, we do not want to keep using very obsolete versions of, let's say, customize. On the other hand, it's kind of not safe to go and upgrade customize because it causes significant, basically it can cause a deep outage in production because customized might have its own bugs and so on. So, and the option we are considering right now is to maintain two sets of images. One image is just for Argo CD binary, and second image is for bundled tools. And that second image can be upgraded independently. So basically, it will give us ability to release Argo CD, and then you can decide yourself when you want to upgrade to the next version of bundled image, bundled tools image. We are not yet clear how exactly version it is going to work, but that's the thing we're working on right now. Please, if you have any ideas, Slack it to us in the Slack channel. That's it. That's what I had for the topic.
Any questions, feedback, concerns?
Everyone is so quiet today. We intentionally cut this official part of demos to talk to you guys more. This says something.
All right, with that, the next bullet point is discuss multi-tendency with Argo CD. Is the person who added this originally from the last community meeting here? Or in general, does anyone have questions about multi-tendency with Argo CD?
Yeah, I have one general question on Argo CD, if you're okay. Yeah. So when it comes to GitOps as a this may be a fundamental question, but I'm trying to clarify how it works with respect to Git repo and a Helm repo. So as a fundamental, we are talking about Git and Git commit, and that's getting synced into Argo CD and getting deployed. So when it comes to Helm repos, where we don't have a Git or a Git commit kind of implementation on the Helm repo, say for example, an Access repo where I host my Helm charts. So how will that sync to the Git-based implementation or a commit-based implementation?
I can take that if you want, Alex.
Sure.
Yeah, so Helm repositories, we actually try to treat similarly to a Git repository in that we consider a Helm chart. It's actually a combination of the Helm chart plus its semantic version, plus the values that were supplied as a combination of a unique combination of stuff that will produce a consistent set of manifests for, using that combination. That's analogous to a Git at a specific Git commit SHA, the manifest produced by that Git commit SHA. And so literally what happens is that we will run the Helm template command with all those parameters, and then that combination is what we cache in our, well, that's more of an implementation detail, but that's what we use as consider kind of an immutable set. Now, it's not always the case that it's truly immutable because of the fact that Helm has sophisticated functions like a rand alpha function, which will generate every time you run Helm template, it'll generate like new character or new output. But for the most part, we consider that combination to produce a unique and stable set of manifests.
Okay, so so since we are going with semantic versioning of Helm charts, and every time I update a Helm chart into my repo, I come to my repo and I give a Helm chart repository here, and when I spin an application using that repo, I give my semantic version there, right? So if a new chart comes in, I'll have to manually go and update the application version in the Helm repo?
Yes, if you specify all 3 digits in the application, you would have to go say go to the Argo CD application and say, okay, now I want 2.1.1 instead of 2.0.0. I believe we do have a feature where you can support the wildcard. So you can say 2.1.star, and you would get all the patch releases. And then eventually we will notice that, oh, there's a new version in the chart repository. And then automatically, if autosync is turned on, it will automatically sync the latest version.
I'm pretty sure. So we support like, official semantic version ranges. And I know at least one user that uses it, and we did make, I think it was part of 1.4 release, we kind of polished it, and Argo CD notices new version immediately. So now it is as good as, I hope, as good as Git.
Okay, so we allow the free flow using the wildcard on the semantic. So if I want to pin it, I can pin it, to a specific version. If I want to allow a new version to be automatically synced, I can just say 1.** and it picks everything, or it always syncs to the latest of 1.*.
That's correct.
Seems to be latest.
Okay.
And then maybe, I'm sure if I missed it, Jesse, but did you mention the umbrella culture approach?
I did not.
There is, yeah, it's just kind of another, I feel like, practical way to deploy Helm charts. You can have a Helm chart which is pretty much empty, and it only references dependencies in your Helm repository. And that it's kind of maybe the same as you still can have wildcards inside of your requirements.txt file of your Helm chart. And it even has some advantage on top over the native Helm repository. Advantage is that you can have value files next to, so basically you can have your Helm chart that references more Helm charts from the repo and values for those Helm charts. So that's another option.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Unless if there are any other questions, I see there's the next topic is a thread on, can we from a Argo CD Helm deploy app reference a remote values file?
Okay, my answer is that I would again talk about umbrella Helm chart. I feel like it's more, maybe it helps the way you would do GitOps is you can have you can reference your Helm chart and have your value files in Git, and that give you kind of easy way to track your value files changes. I agree it's maybe not perfect, and I have seen a lot of questions about ability to reference a remote file, and I know that every time the concern we have is that it's hard to cache because remote file can change at any time. Yeah, that's so basically I think answer is it's not implemented right now. And the reason is maybe not enough people ask for that question. And there is technical reason to kind of not implement it. It's because it's just unclear, how frequently you want to check if that value file has changed, remote value file has changed. And it would be nice, if the person who asked the question, if you could give your use case and describe, why umbrella Helm chart doesn't work.
I'm not 100% sure that person's on the call right now.
It seems that from the issue that parent chart is kind of solving the problem. Trying to open it.
So I pasted the issue I think that you're referring to.
2789. It's in the.
That's the one I pasted just now.
I read the same. I feel like it could be a documentation issue. Maybe we never explicitly provided workaround in the documentation, and that's why the same question keep bubbles up again.
Maybe we should create a documentation with this question.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I feel like I will try to do my best and see if we have the people who ask channel, so who ask the question in the Slack and ask them one more time, see if documentation solves the problem. And then let's say it's action item for the team. We should create the documentation and give an answer.
it would be cool if there is a bot that can mark those into an FAQ or something. We can publish those as an FAQ or something.
Yeah, we actually have FAQ. You're right, it's a good candidate. I mean, Argo CD documentation has a FAQ page.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Unless if there's any more discussion we want to have on this topic, I think we can move on to the next one, which is ARM support. And then there's this Git issue. I'm looking at the people who are in the call, and I don't see people.
It looks like this might be merged. Is that true?
Yes. I guess the most context and information about it has Jan, and then probably he's online. But yeah, Jan, if you want to give a date, go ahead, or I can tell what I know about it. If not, or if it's not Jan. So basically, yeah, the issue was merged, and I think right now the Docker file and the source code is compatible with ARM. But as far as I know, we don't, basically you would have to build that image yourself. And I think that I'm not an expert, but I feel like we cannot easily build that image. It's just because we need a machine that can do it. You know, this use ARM processor. That's my understanding. But if anyone here needs ARM support, please tell us. So I feel like the PR stayed open for a long time because we just don't know like why do we need ARM. Yeah, if you hear more from you, like why would you use it, we can consider start publishing that image, or we can partner with someone and maybe we can figure out how we can do it. I know there is the person who merged it. He also provided I think it was. Basically, he provided a pipeline that builds and publishes that image into some private Docker Hub. Okay, that's all I know about it.
All right. Unless there are any other comments, we can move on to the next line item. Give it 10 more seconds.
I'm pretty sure there is a question from Mukulika.
Yeah, so I think the two questions, or at least the two line items, are kind of related. I know Mukulika posted this last time asking who here, basically Mukulika's our product manager for all of the Argo projects. And so she wanted to kind of hear from the community who's looking for a blue, green, and canary solution, and are you evaluating Argo rollouts? And I can kind of talk to the plans for merging Argo rollouts and Flagger. At this point, there are no current plans to merge the two projects together. We were kind of putting a lot more effort into the Argo CD and Flux GitOps engine. And so we're first kind of working through that, and then we'll figure out how we are going to approach Flagger and Argo rollouts. But for the time being, we're treating them as separate projects. Jesse, do you have anything to add?
No, sorry.
No, that's fine. Does that answer the question, or are there any follow-up questions on that?
Okay.
I would say that we're evaluating Argo rollouts. I don't think we'll use Flagger. But we did see some demos of Argo rollouts, and it seems that it will be easy to use it as is, especially that we're using Istio, and not mixing them is kind of great for us.
Mm-hmm.
And we only delay because of manpower, not the demo seemed pretty promising.
Cool. Yeah, definitely feel free to check out, and I'm sure you have the docs on Argo rollout docs, and then two, the Istio specific information. And if you have any questions or any feedback at all, we would love to hear it, and you can either post it on the Slack channel or create an issue or ping me directly, whatever works for you.
Yep. Thanks.
Anyone else? I'll give it 10 more seconds and then we can talk about the next line item. All right. Last line item, thoughts on adding deployment time. So then there's this Git issue posted. And I'll turn that to Jesse and Alex.
Yeah, I'm reading that issue right now, and it does look like a good requirement. So I don't think the person who asked the question is here, but it seems like the question is there is a request to add how much time syncing to, so user could see in the history page, user could see how long it takes to deploy a revision. My answer is yes. And I feel like it's not the highest priority feature, but because of simplicity, it will be implemented maybe in the next release, just because it's, it's a UI only enhancement, but useful.
So one question I kind of have about this feature is it just the time it took to sync, or is it the time that it took from like sync to healthy, or sync to blank?
Depends if they have a hook that gates the success of the sync. So if they have like a post-sync hook that actually any post-sync hook would kind of delay it until all resources are healthy. But I think we already show this information when you look at the last operation. It's just we don't show it for history. And I agree that it would be useful to know for historical purposes. But if you don't have any hooks, it's just a kubectl apply, and that should take seconds. Otherwise, it could take minutes, depending on how long it, with a post-sync hook, it could take minutes, depending on how healthy your app gets, how fast.
I guess my question is that what the users are looking for, though? Just that kubectl took a second? Or are they more looking for that whole progressing to healthy or progressing to degraded?
I feel like, we would have to ask this user who asked if to create a ticket to know for sure. But so Jesse mentioned we're going to focus on bug fixing and stability in the next release. And I know there is a ticket that explains that sometimes it's impossible to say like why application sync kind of stuck. And the often reason is you maybe have a resource that stuck in progressing state. And it's just impossible to say, okay, my application is syncing for 10 hours, what's happening? And then there is no discussion yet about how to fix it, but I guess we will have to surface to the user interface current state of the syncing process. I think it's just in line with the same issue. So basically, sooner, or I guess in the next release, we will have to work on some improvements that explains to user current state of the sync operation. And let's say if you have sync waves and if you use sync waves and two waves, and second wave just don't start because first wave has ingress and your ingress controller is down, something like that. In this case, Argo CD, I think, is supposed to show you that, hey, I'm waiting for that ingress to be healthy. And yeah, so, and I guess maybe the person who created the ticket maybe tries to resolve that problem. Yeah, so I think that's it. I think we need to ask that clarification in the ticket before implementing.
No, I added the line item to the doc today. I did not post the original question. That's by somebody else, but I was just trying to implement it as a contributor. So my intention, I mean, looking at the issue description, I think they mentioned that they want to measure the time it takes to sync from get maybe, and then also to deploy it onto the cluster, right? So they need that split maybe, but I think the first version can just be to sort of the time that we measure in the operation, right? So operation, there's an operation started at and an operation finished at. So the time diff there, if we can persist that in the history object as well, we might be able to give that difference there. So my comment there was, is it because history just has a deployed at field right now, should you also add a deployment started at field, and will the deploy started at field? And if we in the controller sort of just when we get the operation finished at time, if you also update the history revision history struct with the deploy at field, will that work, or is there a better way to do this, or should we have more discussions on this?
So you're saying basically the data is missing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As we were talking, we assumed the data is there, but
no. Yeah, it's just that we don't have the fields necessary to convey the duration of the past sync operation. So I think the short answer is, yeah, if we want this feature, then we just have to introduce new fields in the revision history and carry over when the operation completes those timestamps of when it started and finished.
Okay, cool. So I'll just try my hand at this. I mean, I'll appreciate reviews when I have the first draft on PR ready.
Yeah, thanks for contributing.
Do you think, Jesse, like design discussion is done basically? So I think answer is yes. These two fields should be added. To be honest, I thought we already have them, but if we don't, then, yeah.
No, not for past sync. Only for the last operation.
Yeah, for the revision history, we just have deployed at, but no deploy started at. Thanks.
Cool. I think with that, unless if anyone else wants to add any comments or questions, that we can open it up at this point since we've gotten through all the items. So if anyone else has anything they want to discuss, feel free to bring it up. I'll give this one more like 30 seconds or a minute. And after that, we can potentially wrap up. But of course, happy to take the extra 10 minutes to answer any questions or discuss anything.
Yeah, I just saw a question in the Slack. I know that it is. Let me just. The question was in chat, and the question was about thoughts about streamlining. There is open pull request that streamlines exit codes of Argo CD CLI, and I didn't get to review it. I think it was created like a couple, maybe even yesterday. So And I know that Jan, another, he's maintainer of Argo CD, he worked with the person. And I think Darshan, if you can give a just overview, like what exactly exit code streamlining means, it will help this code review.
Yeah, so I was just trying to, right now there's a generic exit code for which is used throughout the project. Like it doesn't matter if the operation failed due to a connection issue or due to an argument issue or due to authorization issue. It's a single exit code. This PR basically is to streamline that and enable automation on the basis of exit codes. So this is the first draft of the PR. It's not ready yet, but what we have done is introduce new methods in the GitOps engine repo. There's an open PR on that as well, and then using those methods here to basically try and find out what a proper exit code in any condition should be. So if it's due to Argo CD, for example, the user not being able to talk, the CLI not being able to talk to the server, the API server, for example, it can be a API server exit code. So it's a huge list. I think 900 exit codes. If we can have some review on this, as in what seems like a like if in some cases I have used a wrong exit code and there's a better one available, maybe I can replace that. But overall, just sort of going through it and seeing if the new exit codes make sense.
Okay, and I feel like JC will have an opinion about that. So I feel like the dilemma here is if we introduce it in engine, we have two libraries. We have PKG repository, and that PKG is kind of shared across all Argo projects. And then Argo workflows maybe kind of potentially consumer too. So like,
yeah, so in the GitOps engine, we have the errors package, which basically has errors.checkError, which exits with a, So I just added some more methods, which also take a second argument, which is the exit code.
I understood, yeah. So it's just a kind of, because error check method is in the same package, you added it next to, okay.
Yeah, I don't think I have an issue with any delineating specific different errors. I think the agent should map as a library. GitOps engine should have error like Golang errors, and then the GitOps agent, the implementation CLI should map those errors or something to specific error codes. So it's kind of if we separate the. Go ahead.
The pull request in Argo, there is pull request in Argo CD as well. It uses GitOps engine as a library, and it basically changes Argo CD CLI, so it returns different error codes based on what failed. You know, if you talk to API server, there is error code which kind of has that. Honestly, I do not know kind of if there is any like guidelines about it, like how other tools maintain. So basically, I'm trying to say that I agree with the idea. I see how it can enable some use cases. I do not know, how, like, what is the proper way to do it.
Yeah, I probably, similar to HTTP requests, if it's like a user error or like an internal error, or like maybe those are good classifications of different errors. But yeah, anyway, in short, I think we have a problem giving more details.
And then, so I noticed that tests in GitOps in the thread. So I feel like maybe because method signature was changed, please update the test accordingly. Yeah, it's kind of the first ODB comment.
All right. I think with that, we can wrap up. The next community meeting is going to be July 1st, first Wednesday of the month. And I will post this YouTube recording in the next couple of hours. Everyone have a good day.
Thank you. Okay. Good day.